Well, 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 guys, they responded. How bad do you think it is? How fucking stupid do you think their response is gonna be? Because I guarantee you it is not, it's probably gonna be a pirate software ass response. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. This is not gonna be good, because it's never good whenever you're involving the government. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it.
Apparently, the video games, I don't know, commission, group, a lobbying group for Video Games Europe has made a statement about stop killing games. That's right. We appreciate the passion of our community. However, the decision to discontinue online services is multifaceted, never taken lightly, and must be an option for companies when an online experience is no longer commercially viable. We understand that it can be disappointing for players, but when it does happen, the industry ensures players are given fair notice of the prospective changes in compliance with the local consumer protection laws.
Yeah, I was fucking right. Pirate software ass response. What the fuck is that shit? What is that? I called it. I knew it was going to be like this.
Well, so it's about that last sentence that we really need to talk about, though, right? So you're complying with the local consumer protection laws. Well, we've got a few new ones for you to comply to. How about that?
Yeah, we're just gonna have to change the laws, I guess.
How about we just have a couple more of those, and you're gonna comply with those as well?
Yeah.
And also, you're gonna follow. You're gonna jump.
I love how it's an American telling the EU this, though. Cause we're trying to get this done in the EU. Why aren't we doing this in America? We need to do this in America, because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, bro. Like if we say jump. The government says jump, you say how high. You don't make the rules. The people make the rules, and as soon as the people realize that, stuff like this immediately evaporates.
So true, man. So fucking true. Good luck getting anybody rallied, though. They're probably not gonna get rallied again like this.
That's it. It's about fucking time, yes. And we'll win, yes. Do not ever, ever, ever think that you can't overpower these parasites.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna. Hopefully we can go harder than before.
You easily can. The only reason why we don't is because people are stupid. That's the reason why.
Yeah, it's not over yet, by the way. This is just some stupid fucking lobby. This isn't actually the government.
It won't change unless people stop buying it? Of course it will.
Yeah, of course. We just have to make fun of them until it gets to the point where they're so humiliated that they have to turn it around. Because even if we buy the games, if we make fun of them to the point where they just feel like fucking morons, it'll get it to turn around.
Of course it will. You just make it against the law.
Yep.
Problem solved. That's it. You just change a regulation. If anyone doubts how powerful the EU initiative can be, Video Games Europe, an industry lobbying group, has unsurprisingly come out against Stop Killing Games. The arguments against allowing you to keep your purchase are flimsy. I'll have a video on it in a day or two.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be reacting to that, because this is some bullshit.
Yep, and so will everybody else.
Yep.
The thing is that...
Dude, everybody's going to be reacting to that.
These lobbying groups are really important, but what matters even more than lobbying groups is votes, because different people that take money and are influenced by these lobbying groups, if enough people complain about it, you can make it go away. People are complacent. Yeah, these people like money, but they care more about power. And so, yeah, they know how effective it's going to be. That's not the full statement. There's more. Really?
Oh,
all right,
shit.
So this is the full statement that they made?
Bro, okay. This is gonna be so bad. Alright. I'm probably about to get angry.
Video Games Europe said in their statement, "We appreciate the passion of our community decision."
Yeah, we appreciate the passion of our community. No, you don't. You really don't. You have to say that. You really wish that this wasn't happening. Because this is gonna lose you a lot of fucking time and a lot of fucking money.
To discontinue online services is multifaceted, never taken lightly, and must be an option for companies when an online service is no longer commercially viable.
So just open it up, change a little bit of the code, Allow us to have our own servers. Allow a server browser. It's not that hard. You don't have to do anything except that. And then just hands off. Let us run it. That's all you got to do.
Well, that's, again, that's not even what people are asking for. People are not asking for you to provide online services forever.
That we're literally wanting the opposite of that.
People are asking for you to allow other people to provide on.
Bro, like, is Pirate Software behind this? Is he the guy who responded? Because this sounds exactly what Pirate Software was saying.
Online services in absence of you providing them yourself. Nobody says that you have to run the server forever.
That's literally, like, we're saying that, okay, I'm gonna fucking have an aneurysm.
They're twisting it again. It's included in the petition. It's an alternative or some sort of other solution. That's not the only way of doing it. They watch Pirate Software's video. Read the next
fucking
paragraph.
true. It's probably Pirate Software himself.
It can be disappointing for players, but when that does happen, the industry ensures that players are given fair notice of the prospective changes in compliance with the local consumer protection laws.
Yeah, we'll just have to change the laws. You know, you'll have to comply with something else.
Well, we're going to change the laws.
True.
And so that's
fucking
it.
True.
And hopefully, at least, right? That's the goal. Private servers are not always a viable option for players, as the protections we put in place to secure players' data, remove illegal content, and combat unsafe community content would not.
So they're saying, oh, we can't properly police you, so it's not gonna happen. We're just gonna burn down the city. All right, that makes fucking sense. Such a fucking leftist take. We're not able to police you, so we're just gonna burn it down. There won't be no crime if there's nothing there for you to commit crime at.
Not exist and would have rights holders liable. No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, that's such bullshit.
Absolutely not. You don't have to regulate the entire internet. You don't have to do that. It's not your stuff. It's not your issue. If somebody else takes your content and they turn it into something else, you're not legally liable for that. And also, if you are, then maybe we should solve that problem too. So let me get this straight. Because of one stupid rule, we have to have another stupid rule. Hey, I've got a solution. Why don't we stop making stupid rules?
They can't. That's their job.
Like, how about that? How about we stop creating this apparatus of retardation that everybody has to fucking play gymnastics around because a bunch of lawyers want to make money? It's ridiculous. What a ridiculous idea. And in addition, many titles are designed from the ground up to be online only. In effect, these proposals would curtail developer choice by making these video games prohibitively expensive to create. No, it's just that you have to provide an option for players to be able to play peer-to-peer.
And you can do that after the fact with anything. It's mind-blowing to me.
There is no reason why players can't play peer-to-peer. And also, your ability to maintain and control your intellectual property, in my opinion, does not supersede an individual's ability to have ownership over what they've paid for. And this is the big problem, is that these people view intellectual property as the pinnacle of value. No, consumer rights, consumer protections, and ownership is the pinnacle of value, and intellectual property is underneath that. You can state it as rent? Yeah, that's totally different. They could just make it possible for other people to emulate it? Yeah, that's not the way it works. Yeah, you can have plenty of DRMs, more expensive with no DRM. You just set it, move the goalposts, so multiplayer is either peer-to-peer or a service. Yep, exactly. And let's go back. I can see and find this here. And where's the rest of it?
PC gamer.
We welcome the opportunity to discuss our position with policymakers and those that have led the European Citizens Initiative in the coming months. Video Game Europe's case is it can be too expensive for developers and publishers to offer private servers or single-player modes. It's not that...
Bro, come on! Literally every take that Pirate Software had. And it's fucking retarded.
It's too expensive. It's that it...
These leftist fucking freaks in the government have no idea what they're doing.
Makes them have to give up a certain degree of their intellectual property. That's the reason. is that they think that their intellectual property is more important than our rights as consumers. It's really simple. And I disagree with that. And if enough people disagree with that, we take it away from them, and then they have to jump the same distance that we say we do.
Yeah, if they're gonna treat IP like it's the golden fucking grail, you know what we're gonna do? The opposite. We're gonna fuck it all up for them because they're fucking it up for us. And let me tell you, most of the games we're talking about aren't free-to-play games. They're games that we paid for. And I'm gonna tell you something. We're not gonna be paying $80, $90, $100 for a game that we don't even fucking own. That's not gonna happen. Some people are stupid and they'll do it. But most normal people are not gonna do that. They're not gonna pay that much money for a game that they may not have in the future.
So don't ever give these people an inch. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about any of this stuff. They don't care about the integrity of the games. They don't care about the legality of this. They don't care about
Yeah, if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing.
anything other than maintaining a complete stranglehold over this, and doing so through the ability of them to exercise their connections and money and resources inside of the government. Never give a fucking inch. And so no, absolutely not. Yes.
How many people in this lobby actually even play video games, do you think? Probably zero. Probably a negative amount. I bet a lot of the people that are in this lobby actively hate games, and the only games that they actually care about are like fantasy football and online casinos. That's why they're the video games lobby. Because it's all about making the developers money, because they get money from making those developers money. That's why they're there. They're lobbyists. They always play for whoever gives them the most money.
If we can get enough people together, we can make them do what we want. That's right. It's that simple. Not even about the game. Yep. Let's make them do what we want. And if they want to cry and complain about it, go ahead. Stop making the games. But you won't stop making the games because that's the way you make money. And you'll easily fit, and you will easily acclimate to this, just like you acclimate to everything else, because you're a business, and every business has to meet the market demands at the point that they want. Cybersecurity argument? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and let's hear the cybersecurity argument from Sony. Oh, no.
Dude, yeah, that's fucking insane that Sony's gonna give the cybersecurity argument. They are the most hacked service out of all of them. And they are the ones who are the most egregious about removing content from your library. Removing movies from people's libraries. That's fucking insane.
Wait a minute. Sony says that, wait, oh no. If somebody else is running it, your stuff might get hacked. Oh my God, imagine if that happened.
Yeah, imagine if your stuff gets hacked, man. It's not like Sony gets hacked like once a year.
Happened. That would be horrible. Never give an inch and make video. See, I'm going to read your comments real quick. Make it a law and games will be $120. Fine, then they'll go out of business.
Sure, yeah.
If you can't make a product at a cost that meets the initiative and the demand of a consumer, then you go out of business. That's what happens.
Yeah, I'm not going to be buying games that I don't own. Like, get out of here with that shit. I'm already not doing that. I'm going to continue to not do that.
We set the price. They don't set the price. Now, they try to sell it for that much, but that doesn't mean that we have to buy it for that much. How many
Yeah, just look at Nintendo Switch 2 right now. Fucking nobody's buying the games.
times have you been spamming? What about licensing with third parties? You'd have to give me a more specific example. Yeah, you'd really have to give me a more specific example about that. And also, by the way, this is my general opinion about intellectual copyright. I think it's way...
Yeah, it's bullshit, and we should get rid of it. Fuck your IP, because you're not responsible with it.
too overreaching, and it's way too strong. and it's overpowered and it needs a rebalancing. It's way too overpowered in favor of companies, and individual users and people that own media need to have more rights in general.
True.
So I don't really give a fuck about third-party licenses and, oh my god, somebody's using my character or something like that. Then don't put it in the game. Backend services typically have tons of third-party products that you use for licensing fees. Too bad.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. With all these things, it's like, well, it's going to cost them money. Too fucking bad. Too fucking bad. Because guess what? The companies that are most egregious about this are the companies that make record profits year on year. Billion-dollar companies. Some of them close to trillion-dollar companies.
Why would I care about that as a consumer? Nothing about that justifies taking away the product that I paid for as a consumer. Your business licensing problems have nothing to do with my rights as a consumer.
True.
That's not my problem. Your problem is licensing, not mine. The rules are retarded? Yeah. You didn't pay for it? Needs to read what you pay for? Well, I mean, then we redefine what paying for something means. You really want...
I think if you can pay with your time, then it stays. You are not allowed to shut it down. That's what I think. It did not even pay with money. If you paid with your time, how they expected you to pay. If you pay how they expect you to pay, I think that it stays. If it's free to play, you paid with your time. You watched ads. You paid for microtransactions, whether you did or didn't. You still boosted their numbers. That has to stay. And if it's a free to play game, I guess you're just gonna have to release it out to the public as a completely free to play game. That's what I think.
It went soft on Pirate Software. His arguments are very similar to the article that you read. Well, I've already addressed.
I think it's straight up a corpo leftist take. And they're lying. Because they don't want this to change, because it's gonna make them lose a lot of money.
That. I already talked about all of the arguments, I already said it in general. And also the reason why I went soft on Pirate Software is because Pirate Software has no power or influence, but this company and this initiative and lobbying group does. Why do I don't feel threatened by a YouTuber, but I would feel threatened by a lobbying group? What are you, fucking retarded? Of course. So I totally support this, obviously. When
I think that's not true, though. I think Pirate Software does have a lot of power, and if he would just say, let's get on board with this, then he would that would be hundreds of thousands of people that would be on board. That would be hundreds of thousands of more people. Not saying that all those people are his fans, but he will rally even more people who are just kind of like know him or know of him in the background, and they think he's a smart dude. Now he's saying it. A lot of people do see him as one of the smartest people on the internet, and it's really sad. Those people are sad. They live a sad existence.
Ross comes out with the video on it.
I can't wait for that.
We will just keep pushing this.
Yep.
And then also,
yeah, I'm not going to stop pushing this.
Another really big problem is that this is an issue for all forms of media. And as soon as this can be addressed and people can understand it, then I think it's going to help a lot. Sarah, thanks for the 20 subs. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this whole situation's fucking ridiculous, man.
Why weren't licenses an issue in the past when single-player games were offline? Because they created...
Or when multiplayer games... There were still multiplayer games, it still wasn't an issue.
This problem.
Yeah. They created this problem because they want to make more and more money.
That's the reason why.
And cut corners.
They created this problem in order to justify doing things that were unfriendly to consumers.
Yep.
That's the reason why. They invented the problem... And now they say, well, we've...
But to be honest, they only did that to the consumers because they knew it was going to make more money. Because at the end of the day, they don't care about hurting consumers. They care about money. So if it's something that's good to the consumers and it will make them more money, they'll do it. Guaranteed. So we just have to make it to where they don't make any money unless they do what we want.
We've created this issue, and now you have to exist inside of the confines of these issues. No, it's an artificial problem. Never accept the premises of somebody that's acting disingenuous.
Yeah, bunch of bullshit corpo liars. Just trying to make as much money as possible. Get that shit out of here. We're not done with this. I'm gonna keep making videos on this. Like and subscribe.